Hey y'all, happy Friday. Woo! I hope y'all are doing good today. I'm just on here to give a quick word, y'all. I tried to record this earlier, but my shirt was being crazy. It kept opening. I felt exposed, and we don't do that, okay? So I had to delete that word and do it over, y'all, because when you start walking with the Lord, little stuff like that bothers you. Like, God will change your whole mentality. And guys, all I had was like one button open and it wasn't even showing anything, but I felt so exposed. I was like, I am not posting that word. So, and I didn't even have to tell y'all that, but y'all are my friends. So I deleted that word earlier and I was like, I'm just gonna record it again. So let me record it right now because somebody needs to hear this. And I'm hungry, so I'm gonna make this really quick. But God will confuse you, but he's not the God of confusion, okay? Before you go trying to type a whole essay, because some of y'all just come to be little critics, okay? I do not need none of that nonsense, okay? God will confuse you, but he's not the God of confusion. God will confuse you, but he's not the God of confusion. And what I mean by that is, guys, sometimes God will ask us to do stuff and it confuses us, right? He may tell us to move to a certain state. We move to the state that he said to move to, all hell breaks loose, okay? So we're confused as to why God sent us there in the first place if all hell was gonna break loose, right? He may tell us to put in 2 weeks notice and we put in 2-week notice, not another job to go to. You're getting bills piling up, eviction notices. The same light company that used to give you 30 days to pay now only gave you 2 days to pay, and you're confused. Okay, so you're like, God, you told me to put in a 2-week notice, and now all of this is happening, and we're confused, right? We're like, I don't understand this. When you say I don't understand it, it's because you're confused, right? God's plans will confuse you, but he's not the God of confusion. Just because you may be confused by something he is telling you to do in your life, that's not the standard, because God is not going to give you the standard plans, okay? He is not going to give you something that's always comfortable or that majority of the people are doing. He will give you the most out of the box order for you to follow, okay? He will test your faith by giving you something that's not common, that other people aren't doing, that other people aren't talking about, okay? When God had me release a word to you guys that he gave me a choice, that he would still restore my marriage, or I can, or he has a new love story that he has already written for me, it was my choice. That wasn't a popular topic, but I was still obedient when he said, now release the option that I gave you to the people, because you're not the only one going to have that option. I was confused because I had not heard anybody else at this time talk about it. Everybody else was, I'm standing, and that's it. But here you are, God had given me an option. But you know what? I'm not here to please people. So even though I was confused by the option God gave me, even though he had already told me previously that he would give me an option, I just didn't understand it at the time. So what he was telling me wasn't popular. And I was a bit confused. I was like, what, Lord? You want me to tell these people this that feels like there is no other option and da-da-da-da? He was like, yeah. I want you to tell them that I will raise another for some of my kids, right? So for me, that was an out-of-the-box thing that I had to do, right? And I was kind of confused. Like, I knew what option he gave me, but I just wanted to keep it to myself because I didn't have no time for people coming back with their comments. And oh, they came back with their comments, honey. Everybody has something to say about that word when I released it back in April. God wouldn't tell you this, da-da-da, block, block, block. I was not playing. I knew what God had told me. I could hear from Jesus, okay? And it's the stuff like that that God will use to test your faith. But what you need to understand is that your blessings are on the other side of your obedience. So even though God may be telling you to do something that's not popular, okay, quit your job, even though people are claiming they're in a recession, okay, your job ain't lay you off, but God telling you to quit your job, Lord, make that make sense. To you, it probably does not, but God will set you up to set you up, okay? And I released the word on that a couple days ago. He will set you up just like he did Job. He set Job up in order to set him up. Job did not understand what was going on, okay? Job was known as God's most faithful servant, okay? So imagine somebody getting straight A's in school and the principal comes and tell them that they're expelled, okay? And they're looking like, for what? How did I just get kicked out of school if I'm a straight A student? And the principal is just like, you're just kicked out. There's no explanation. I'm pretty sure that's how Job felt, okay? Because he was God's most faithful servant and he's being hit left and right. Kids dying, wife telling him to curse God, boils on his body, like everything's happening and he knew, he's like, I haven't done anything wrong, but my life is in shambles. He was confused. And if you guys remember in scripture, and I'm paraphrasing, God had to come to him and say, I need you to answer a few questions for me as a man. Since you feel like you know everything, Job, God was like, were you there when I created the world? Were you there before the world was formed? Like, God began to ask him questions that he didn't have the answer to because then nobody had the answer to these questions but God. The answer to all his questions went back to God. So God was trying to show him, you don't know everything. You're speaking, because Job began to complain. Job took it to the left because he was confused. He didn't understand the predicament that he was in. He didn't understand why God was putting him through all of that. He was confused. God will confuse you, but he's not the God of confusion. God knew that he was setting Job up in order to set him up. God knew it was not going to feel good. God knew Job wouldn't understand it, and God still ain't give him a reason as to why he went through what he went through. Okay, a lot of the stuff you went through, God is not going to give you a reason for why you had to go through it. Just know that he set you up to set you up. So he will confuse you because he's God. If you could understand every move that he was making, why he was making every move, how he was making every move, when whatever was going to happen, then there would be no point in having God, because you would be like God, okay? We're made in his image, but we are not God. He is the most powerful man. He's all-knowing. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. There is no one else like God but God. So he will confuse you, but he's not a God of confusion. Just because you may be confused, just because I may be confused, that doesn't mean God is confused. He's not sitting there like, oh, wow, I didn't see Nina's marriage crumbling. I didn't know she was going to have to stand. I didn't see Jessica losing her job. Wow, let me try to figure this out. And I'm just calling random names. I didn't know that when Ashley or Leticia, whoever, Shanice, moved to another state, that they weren't going to have anywhere to live initially. They were going to have to be in a homeless shelter. I didn't know. Hold up. Let me try to figure that out. God is not saying any of that because he already knows how to figure it out. He already has it figured out, even if you don't know that he has it figured out. God does not sleep nor slumber. He's always on post, and he's always working for you. So he will confuse you, but he's not a God of confusion, guys. So trust and believe whatever he's asking you to do. If it is to stand for a marriage, and you don't understand why, because this person, they seem psycho to you, okay? Because we all know, if you've ever stood for somebody, you're like, Lord, I know I ain't hear you right. Because look at this person acting like a whole fool over here, okay? If he made a man marry a prostitute, he'll make you stand in the gap for somebody, baby. He's not confused. God is not confused. Okay, when you ask God to use you, you're going to feel pretty darn used. Okay, when you say, God, use me, here I am, you're going to feel used. Expect to feel used. Okay, many people say that without knowing. Once you say, Lord, use me, you're going to feel pretty used. Okay? He's not going to just put you on a beach in sunshine where you chilling, nothing's happening. No, he uses these experiences to get the glory out of it, but to build you up into the person that he designed you to be and to set you up for life. Okay, he set you up in order to set you up. And if you have not watched that word and this word resonates with you, go back and watch it and allow God to minister to you. He will confuse you, but he's not a God of confusion. He was never confused. He was never shocked by what happened to you. He was never shocked that your family members turned their backs on you. He was never shocked that your own mama, sister, brother talked about you behind your back. He was never shocked. Sorry guys, my phone's dying, so it stopped. He was never shocked that your family members would disown you. He was never shocked that you would be the black sheep of the family. He was never shocked that your husband or your wife would divorce you and treat you like crap. He was never shocked that your kids would not want to speak to you anymore. He was never shocked that you would get fired from your job. He was never shocked that you would be diagnosed with this illness. Nothing that's going on in your life is confusing to God, and nothing is news to him. He knew all of this before you were even formed in your mother's womb. Okay, your story was already written by him. He just does not tell you every piece of the story. Okay, so when things pop up, many people that scream Lord, Lord, but their faith isn't there, they really start to like act a plumb mess because they're wondering why everything is blowing up when they said yes to God. Honey, when you say yes to God, stuff is gonna blow up. That's when it's gonna blow up. Okay, before you said yes to God, you was out in the world, so Satan was not going to mess with you. He already had you. But once you start to partner with God, all hell literally breaks loose, okay? You become confused at a lot of things that God is asking you to do, but he's not a God of confusion. You may be confused by what he told you to do because when he told you to do it and you did it, the turnout was not like you expected, okay? It doesn't matter. Your blessings are on the other side of your obedience. So whatever he's told you to do, to move, to quit the job, to start the business, to trust him with your diagnosis, to trust him with your debt-free life that you've prayed about, okay? Even though your credit cards are maxed out and your credit score is not even on the credit score scale, okay? Like, it's okay. Those are all facts, okay? But what is the truth? Facts can change in a second. I can say the fact right now could be that it's dark outside. But God's truth says that he created the light in the darkness. That's what it says in his word. That he controls the weather, the rain, the snow. He controls it all. So yeah, the fact may be it's dark outside, but the truth is God controls everything in this world. And in a split second, that can change. Facts change, guys. Facts change. But God's truth never changes. The fact could be you have 14 cents in your bank account. But the truth is God says you will be the lender and not the borrower. Okay? And that you will lend to many nations. Okay? That's the truth. It does not change. What's in your bank account, that's just a fact. And facts change. So stick with God's truth. Stick with God's truth. Fact right now can be you're battling cancer or COVID or whatever the case may be, or your loved ones may be battling something. That's fact. Cool. The truth says by his stripes you are healed. And his truth will not change, guys. So yeah, God will confuse you, but he's not the God of confusion. It's okay for you to be confused. Just do whatever he's telling you to do because he's setting you up in order to set you up. Pass the test. Your blessings are on the other side of your obedience, whatever he's told you to do. Many of you, he's told you to start a business, to stop working. But you're sitting there like, I'm not smart enough to run my own business, Lord. What do you mean? He does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So if he's told you to start a business, you are already a business owner. It happens in the spirit before it happens in the natural. So he has already deemed you as a business owner, as a successful business owner, because God only produces successful things. If he's told you to move, to relocate, to stop talking to the group of people you talk to, some of you guys are on the brink of a breakthrough. All you have to do is close the door to some of the people you hang around, because until you do, God can't bless you. If he gave you the blessing that you've been asking for right now, the people that are in your circle, they would use you and abuse you, and your blessing will be gone in a split second. So for many of you, he's waiting for you to close that door so that he can open the door to your blessings. You're just one closed door away from your blessing, and he's waiting for you to close the door. But you're still hanging on to these people. Oh, Lord, that's my homegirl. She been holding me down since 1990. That's exactly what she been doing, holding you down. You can't move nowhere. Can't even get the blessings he has for you because you're stuck trying to hold on to this person. Trust God in whatever he's told y'all to do. If it's to move, if it's to break up with that man or that woman, okay, because he done told you that ain't your spouse, you still trying to hold on because you think you can't find better. God already has better for you. He had better for you before you were even born. Close the door. If he's told you to relocate, relocate. If he's told you to leave one company and go to another, but it's something you've never done before, do it anyway. Because God has already blessed your path. He will bless the path that he's telling you to take, but he's not going to bless something that you're choosing to do without him. Trust him. His plans will confuse you, but he's not a God of confusion, guys. So I hope this blesses somebody. Let me get up off here because I didn't mean for this to be 16 minutes, but I hope y'all get what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's it, y'all. Love you.